Honourable members, I want to welcome you to this afternoon sitting.
On Tuesday, 3rd December 2024, Parliament passed the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Bill 2024, which introduces significant reforms to Uganda's vocational education sector, including the merger of key regulatory bodies.
This bill seeks to establish an employer-led TVET system that is functional, effective, efficient, to meet the demands and priorities of the labour market. The bill proposes harmonization, synchronization, and a merger of the function of various TVET assessment bodies into one homogeneous function to reduce costs and ease coordination, in line with the Cabinet's directive on rationalization of government agencies, commissions, authorities, and public expenditure (APEX). It proposes the transition and the merger of Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board, UBTEB, and the Directorate of Industrial Training into the Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board. B, Uganda Allied Health Examinations Board and Uganda Nurses and Midwifery Examinations Board into the Health Professionals Assessment Board.
The committee observes that Clause 35 requires the entities covered under the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act to be accredited for TVET programs under this Act, that this role is carried out by the National Council for Higher Education in the current regime. The committee notes that the word may was used instead of shall, and yet, from the Ministry's explanation, it is the intention of the bill to have one body to regulate TVET. The committee recommends that Clause 35 be amended to make it mandatory for any university, other degree awarding institutions or tertiary institutions established under the Universities and Other Tertiary Institutions Act to be accredited under this law.
Can't we have one secretariat to handle the National Council of Higher Education and then TVET Council, instead of having an executive director for this, and then we also have an executive director for the other one that is already existing, and others that they maintain to create. And yet we have been saying we should rationalize. When we're rationalizing the agencies under the agricultural sector, we said we should have one entity to regulate all of them. But now we are having three entities to actually deal with one sector.
This argument came about, Right Honourable Speaker, when we were doing rationalization, that the institutions should be controlled in one place and have small officers who would be deployed. As we make this law and the subsequent laws, it would make sense that we have one accounting officer in that perspective, and the rest either principals but reporting to one accounting officer.
Honourable Speaker, when you look at all these commissions, all these agencies, they have completely different functions and they serve a completely different service. So putting all of them together is going to create us more problems.
The TVET delivery has been fragmented. And if you look at the functions of the National Council for Higher Education, will definitely be very different from the functions of the TVET Council that is going to play. So putting those things together, it is going to create a very, very big challenge in management, development, and application of the skills that we need to get from the trainees.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Bill 2024 be read for the third time and do pass.
I put a question that the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Bill 2024 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Act 2024.
The title is settled and the bill is passed.
In the sitting, Parliament unanimously called for increased funding to the Uganda National Bureau of Standards following reports of delays in certification and laxity on enforcement of standards.
You're aware that Uganda Bureau of Statistics is concerned with making sure that the standards are obliged to and enforceability. So I want to urge Uganda National Bureau of Standards to ensure that they do the audit and issue the certificates timely to help the members out, to help the business community out to do their work and make sure that they sell their products so that people don't imagine those are counterfeits.
Uganda National Bureau of Standards is heavily facing challenges from human resource, from funding, and therefore it has costed many Ugandans who are in manufacturing, who are in business. And it is getting money. To certify a single product, you need to pay about 800,000. It collects over 80 billion annually, and its budget is about 40 billion.
After a product has been certified for 1 year, 1 year has expired, UNBS requires you not to put the product on the shelf until the certification has been renewed. Yet they take more than 3 months to renew the certification. And that means you cannot even export the product. You cannot even produce additional product for almost 3 months.
There are so-called illegal fishing gears, and yet Uganda Bureau of Standards is supposed to be at every one-stop center of the customs in this country to ensure that whatever product is not acceptable on the market of Uganda should not enter the country. The fishermen are now asking if these gears are illegal, where are they being produced in Uganda? If they are produced in Uganda, why is the government of Uganda allowing it on the market of Uganda?
UNBS, Madam Speaker and colleagues, is underperforming because of one, capacity. They have few people, they cannot perform the task. Secondly, the nature of their funding is a problem. Because when people who want the approval of the standards pay through URA and the money goes to a consolidated fund, the budget they have cannot finance the requirement that is out there. So as Parliament, we need to review this so that we can enable them to perform.
We have importers bringing goods from various countries outside Uganda. But because you don't have agencies representing Bureau of Standards in those countries, they come with their goods here and they are instead penalized because they were not able to have pre-shipment inspection done. So we need to support them both in terms of capacity, in terms of resources, in order to allow trade to flow across board.
The industrial sector has grown. We are now contributing 27.4% to our national GDP, and manufacturing alone contributing 16.5%. Grown from 85 factories in 1986, and now 9,400 factories. This requires capacity to monitor all these activities and ensure that the products are inspected and the standards are kept. So the length of time that we take should be on an average of 2 months. And we shall get the report, Madam Speaker, and circulate it to all members of Parliament to see how many have applied and how long we have taken to approve, to satisfy.
I now adjourn the House Sunday.